to a brand new show that I just created here on Box Office Maniacs, and it is called Franchise Friday Frights. Now I'll say that 3 times quick. Franchise Friday Frights. So basically, this came out of Horror Month this year. And what I mean by that is Vince and I decided to do something completely different for Horror Month this year. And I have already recorded several things because that's how soon we actually start filming stuff for Horror Month, believe it or not, is way back in March and April. And I've already recorded a couple things, but now it's switched and we're not doing this anymore. So instead of scrapping those reviews, I decided to create a new show called Franchise Friday Frights. So the next 3 Fridays, you will see what was originally supposed to be for Horror Month. But I'm going to try to just go ahead and fix it to where it's just a regular Franchise Friday Frights now. So when we have some trilogies of horror films, or even more than trilogies, we are going to bring them to you every Friday. So this is not replacing the Franchise Fridays. This is going to be just all horror films for however long it takes to finish this franchise. Now we actually have a couple of them on the way here. So this is the first one that I did called Wolf Creek. So let's get right into it. Here is Wolf Creek for my very first Franchise Friday Frights. So I'm going to add to our collection of franchises this month with a movie that I don't know if a whole lot of people know what it is even. And that is Wolf Creek. 5 years ago, maybe not that long ago, but been a while ago, Wolf Creek 2 showed up on Netflix. And it was one of those nights, real late at night, and I was looking through Netflix trying to find something to watch, and here's Wolf Creek 2. Never heard of it, no idea what it was, and I started watching it, and as soon as I started watching it, I was like, wow, this is actually really well directed. It's a really good movie. And then after the first opening sequence, I was like, holy cow, this is a pretty cool movie. And then I watched the entire thing, and then by the end of it, I was like a super fan. I was like, wow, this was great. Why haven't I never heard of Wolf Creek? And where was the first one at? So then I heard that Shudder, the horror channel app that you can download, is going to be getting the Creepshow series. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to give Shudder a chance because I'm obviously a huge fan of Creepshow. If you've seen our show the year before last, where we did all the Creepshow movies. So anyway, I ended up getting Shudder and installed it, turned it on, and here is Wolf Creek the series. I'm like, what? They made a series out of Wolf Creek? Wolf Creek 2? Now they made a series out of it. So ended up watching that series, and then I'm like, all right, well, maybe I need to see Wolf Creek 1. So I went out and got Wolf Creek 1 to review for you guys, and the entire franchise, and the TV series, and the whole thing. But let's start with the first one, shall we? I was unable to get this thing on Blu-ray, which kind of upset me because I don't really like buying DVDs. I haven't bought a DVD since like 1972. Well, maybe not that long ago. But, you know, I haven't bought a DVD in a long, long time. And I searched the internet trying to find this thing on Blu-ray, and it just doesn't exist. And I don't really understand why the second one is out on Blu-ray. You think the first one would be out on Blu-ray. Nope, it's DVD. DVD only.
Good job. You failed.
And this is like the old style DVD case where you got the latches, you gotta unsnap the latches, and then pop the thing open, and then it's like nothing. It's black interior with the disc, because that's what you get when you buy a DVD. Nothing but the movie, if you're lucky. Alright, so what is Wolf Creek, you ask? If you've never heard of it, like I've never heard of it, and I never really hear people talk about it. That's the thing too. It's not like a Friday the 13th or a Nightmare or a Chucky or Halloween. Like, oh yeah, Michael Myers. Who is Mick Taylor? Don't know, never heard of this guy. Like I said, I started in the middle and went that way, and I didn't go backwards. So it was really interesting to see the origin, or where Mick Taylor came from. The first one is so different from the other ones that Greg McLean directed, and that's the director, and he's an awesome director. Great. I don't know what else that he's done. I need to go and look it up. But he's a fantastic director. He directs so well, and this one was such a weird directing style compared to the rest of them, because I think he was trying to do the Texas Chainsaw Massacre realistic looking sort of documentary style filmmaking for the first film, and you know what? It works extremely well with the first movie. It works really well with the first movie. And it also comes up and says it's based on a true story about how all these people who go to Australia, or visitors or whatever, go there and they just disappear and nobody ever finds them again. And if you think about that, if you're a traveler or a tourist and you go to the outback, there's nothing out there. I mean, it's just an open plain of nothing. And if a serial killer wanted to stalk the outback, there's no way anyone's ever going to find this guy out there, or find the bodies probably, and, because there's just so much nothingness out there. And it makes for a great idea for a movie, and that's what this is. These are great films. So the story on the first one is about a group of people. There was one guy and two women, and they're going on a vacation. And again, it's filmed very loosely. The camera moves a lot to kind of like show, like I said, the documentary style. And it was a nice way of watching this film. There is a huge crater, one of the biggest ones in the world, or probably the biggest one in the world, out there in Australia by Wolf Creek, or that's the name of it, is Wolf Creek. And I don't know if it's real, like I said, but they show it in the movie, and I'm assuming there's a helicopter or a drone or something flying over the thing, and it's really impressive. So people go there for vacations all the time, I guess, or, it's a tourist attraction, a tourist spot, they go there. And that's what this movie is these three people are going out to look at this crater. And the thing is with the crater is once you get out there, your electronic devices, again, I don't know if this is real, if it's just for the film, they quit working. So you're pretty much stuck out there with no way of communications or anything like that. And a lot of times you go out there and your car will stop because whatever electricity is in the air from that crater, the meteor hitting, it affects, like I said, electronics, your car can stall. And here is a perfect hunting ground for a serial killer. Now the guy who plays Mick in the movie is named John Jarrett. For any horror fan, that should be a name. As soon as you say something like Kane Hodder or Robert Englund or anything like that, John Jarrett should be in there with that category because that's how good this guy really is. He is fantastic in this film. He is so good in this movie, and that's what makes the movie so good, especially the second one, which I'll get to that when I get to the review. And this one, if I hadn't watched the second and the series, and I watched this as the first film, you wouldn't know kind of what was going on because you wouldn't know this is the guy. This is the guy that's there to murder everybody. But you can kind of, I guess, figure it out pretty quick. That's the basic plot of this film, and pretty much all the other films, except for the series, is, well, I guess it's even in the series, is these people go out on vacations, go out to this Wolf Creek crater, and he picks them up and tries to kill all of them, takes them somewhere and kills them. But the characters in this film are really, really well developed. It's like by the time they get to the crater, you kind of know the characters, and as soon as Mick shows up, John Jarrett's character, he's like a presence on screen. He really is. He's such a great actor, and he's creepy, but he can also be funny, and he can turn it off instantly. He can give you that look, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna die. And he has a great laugh. He's a really memorable, great laugh. Everything about this character is awesome. And I would even put him up there, like I said, with Jason or Freddy or Michael, with any of those characters. Mick Taylor is definitely as good as them. I would even go as far as saying he's even scarier because he's a real person. He's not a person behind the mask. He's not a person from the dream. He's not, he's just a killer. He's out there killing people. And I know a lot of times they try to do that in movies where they're like, oh, we're not going to have a hockey mask, whatever. We're just going to have real people. And it don't work that well because you don't have that well of an actor playing that role. But if you get somebody as good as John Jarrett doing this role, it makes the movie. And he literally makes the film. And the first one is, like I said, much more frightening, I guess, than the second one. The second one is, I'll get to in my review, we'll talk about here. But just the way that Greg McLean decided to film this movie in sort of the documentary style, it does borrow heavily, I guess, from the original Chainsaw, and it's just a great horror film. From beginning to end, this movie will have you. The Outback is part of the story. It's as important to the story as any of these characters. And it's, the scenery in the film is just incredible, it's breathtaking, but you also have to realize when you're watching this, the desolate, just nothingness out there of everything, and that is a big part of the story too. So if you are new to Wolf Creek and you've never heard of it, I implore you, if you are a horror fan of any kind, go out and buy this movie. And you can right now only get it on DVD, and this thing was like $6. I mean, it's $6. So overall, the first Wolf Creek for me gets a 5 out of 5. Loved it. I loved it from beginning to end. It was extremely good. There you go. Hopefully you enjoyed Franchise Friday Frights. I really enjoyed bringing this to you, and it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. We're going to do this all summer long and all winter long, and whenever we get inspired to do a franchise for a horror film, instead of bringing 17,000 franchises during Horror Month, we are going to kind of split them up through the year. Some of them we're going to keep for Horror Month next year, so we're not going to do all the franchises, but some of the smaller ones I would like to do for this. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, become one of our maniacs. Hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, and let us know you enjoy our videos and enjoy what we do here and enjoy horror films, most of all. So that's it. I will see you next Friday here for Wolf Creek 2 on Franchise Friday Frights.